Is it recording?
It's recording, Alex. Hello, folks, and welcome to the Marketing and Business Show. As always, I'm your host, Peter Langan. I'm joined by my good friend, living in Scotland, in the Highlands, Alex Holoco. Alex, how are you?
Good, mate. Just got back from a bike ride. Just hustling on a Friday. I had some phone calls there, which is good. With some potential new clients. And life is good, yeah. How about yourself?
It's been going well. Overall, today was a good day at the gym, actually. I'm doing a half marathon the end of this month. I'd asked Julie what day was it. It's on the 12th of February. It's a Sunday. Oh, no, next month, but I'm in my head it's the end of this month. And I'm just sort of like trying to up my speed because I'd done a marathon before, half marathon before, and, you know, it was a nice steady cruise, but it wasn't really fast. And I want to, like, I hit, the time was 2 hours on the button I hit, but it was all hills. But this time I want to go and I want to get like maybe a 140, something like that. I'm not one of these big like runners and all, but at the same time, I just want to push myself a little bit. So I went on the treadmill today and I ran at 4 minutes 23. Now, I didn't multiply that out, but it kind of multiplied. I think it multiplies out okay. It was quite fast. And I did that for 5K.
Wow, fair play. I mean, you've started, as well as that, you've started doing some gym stuff, haven't you? Strength training in the gym.
Yeah, so I was, and this is not a gym fitness podcast, but I think it's important to talk about these things. I started doing like, it's all motivational, isn't it? It's all like your mood is just brilliant when you do it, like in the gym. But I actually went and started doing like all this sort of fitness stuff on strength training. Don't ask me to name the machines. What they are, I could point them out to you. I use them. It's good. I started doing like 10 reps. Is that what they call it?
Yeah, reps is like a repetition.
All right. I didn't know what that meant. So I started doing 10 repetitions, but I've increased it now to like 15 repetitions. So it's just like kind of building on it. And it's really, really cool. So no, all is going very well. But what I'm about to talk to you about today, Alex, is not very well. It's very, very sad.
I was part of this as well, you know, so you don't have to, like, it sounds like you've got something to share with us. This was actually our massive mistake.
Yeah. It was a massive mistake, but people at home don't know what we're talking about. So I think that's why I put in that tone.
They will shortly.
Yeah, they will very shortly, right?
Yeah, let's talk about the £8,000 zip.
Yes, it's the £8,000 zip. Guys, you heard us right. We lost £8,000 over a zip, or rather zips. That's where it all went wrong.
Oh my God.
Where does it start? It starts actually, funny enough, with drop shipping. Actually, it was drop shipping. Online dropshipping. Alex introduced me to this model where so Alex, it's your fault. Sorry, so Alex introduced me to this model, and it was like, basically where you find products that have like high Google search volume. You go on to Amazon, you find that product, and then you create your own store landing page for it, and you drive your own Google or Bing shopping ads to that product. All right. It was pretty cool, actually. It
was profitable.
Pardon?
It was like at the peak of it. This is during COVID. So like 2020, is it 2019, 2020 or something, whatever it was.
2020.
I got put onto it, and then I started seeing some unbelievable results from some of the products I was selling. And yeah, at the peak of it, I was making about £1,000 a day in revenue, not profit, revenue. Which all sounds great, and there was a lot to learn from that. The only problem was, well, there was several problems with it, but yeah, maybe we can get into that afterwards. But yeah, from there, I got so excited, introduced it to Peter. Peter jumped on this bandwagon, and yeah, it was a good way of, I think it was a good way of testing products, right? I mean, that's what it should have been anyway, in theory. This example we're about to give you, it probably would have worked, wouldn't it? If we hadn't had this issue, it would have been a really profitable product.
Yeah, 100%. And
the product was the product was, well, it wasn't a very usual product, was it? I mean, like, for example, the products that I was selling at the peak, I was selling weight benches and pull-up bars. And if you think about it, back in COVID, people were apparently restrained to their homes and stuff like this. So they wanted to do exercise from home. We're not going to talk about any of that stuff because that's just, yeah, we'll keep that out of it for now. But people were at home and they were trying to do exercise from home.
To stay at home.
Yeah. So held at ransom at home. And people were buying.
Good for business. Good for business, Alex.
Yeah, good for business. Good for health and fitness products from business, which is what we jumped on. And we made a boatload of money. And then we decided to scale this and find new products. And one of the products that Peter came across was a cat playpen. Do you want to talk more about the cat playpen, Peter?
Yeah. So, I'd never heard, Alex, of a cat playpen. I didn't know they existed. But this is the amazing world of product research. You find these random products, and there's a buyer for everything, including cat playpens. So, what a cat playpen is it's obviously for people that love their cats. Now, any cat I've known wouldn't like being put in this cat playpen. And actually funny, when we got to the stage of taking photos of the playpen, you got the neighbour's cat and brought it to the park, and the look on the cat's face was nearly like, why have you done this to me?
Yeah. Oh my God.
Yeah, I know. But I know. So a cat playpen is it's a tent, and the cat goes into it and it plays when you're away. I use the sort of line that it stops predators attacking your cat, but I think it's the other way around. Usually the cat attacks other things like birds and stuff. But either way, the cat's in the tent, all is well, and you're happy. Now, some of these cat playpens that I was selling, I was selling them on my own landing page, and I was buying them on Amazon and sending them to the consumer. But what I discovered was that by doing that, if things went wrong or people weren't happy and had to return it, and it was just a bit messy. I didn't like that type of drop shipping really, and the margins were just bitting tight. I was making maybe $10 profit per unit, which is all right because it cost me nothing really. At that stage, I'm just making $10. But some of these playpens had a tunnel, okay, for the cat to have extra space, and I decided, along with Alex, that, it would be a good idea to bring these products in from China. We cut out the middleman, which is the person selling them on Amazon and making their profit, and we'd make all the profit, and we dominate the cat playpen market. That was the plan.
Yep, that was the plan.
Yeah, but unfortunately, it didn't really pan out like that. So we ordered the products from China. We got them made. And we got our second tunnel installed, and the pack, it was really good quality stuff. Got the samples in actually, and everything was great. But there was a problem that only became apparent when the first products were dispatched from consumers from Amazon that were our cat playpens. Now, Alex, do you want to sort of describe what started going wrong?
Yeah, so basically, consumers were complaining that they couldn't zip the tunnels together, or they couldn't zip the tunnels to the tent, was it? One of those, it was something like that. So basically they had a tunnel and a tent, and they couldn't put those two together. And that was one of our unique selling points, that you could make this extra space for a cat by attaching a tunnel to a tent. And you couldn't do that for some reason. And we were selling these products in the United States, right? And we are based in the UK. So there was no way for us to go and check on the products or anything like that. So we were getting returns from customers who kept saying their products were broken, they were faulty, and we were scratching our heads wondering what was going on. And customers started sending us photographs of what was actually happening. And we ended up going back to our supplier and asking, why have these been manufactured wrong? They went through quite a meticulous process of being checked. And we were asking them every stage of the process, is this correct? Can you show us photographs? And we have email evidence to prove everything. And yet the supplier was quite abrupt in the fact that they thought they were right. So they'd obviously sent out all this product that we'd already paid for. And unfortunately, we had many, many returns from customers because of this real simple problem of the zip. And this could have been easily avoided. So yeah,
I wouldn't mind, Alex. The product, the sample that arrived here, it all zipped together. So tent, the 2 tunnels, right? But and I remember I actually was going back because I wanted to do the costings for this episode, right? And I actually found an email where before we made the second payment to the supplier, I asked her, I said, do all these zip together? And she said yes, and sent me a picture of the things zipped together. And I was like, perfect. So that's the sample that you got and took pictures of for the product listing. But yet suddenly people start saying my things don't attach together. And all these returns, everything else, the whole listing, the whole expedition of the cat playpen just didn't work out at all. And actually, it reminds me, the ones I was drop shipping actually, and what encouraged me as well to, like, let's look to do our own was they were tied together. And I remember getting emails that some cats had escaped from the cat playpen. So things weren't well in the cat playpen world, But so here's how it went down, right? Cost of goods. Now let me just do the calculations here, guys, because I wanna share this with you, just so you can understand the perils of the cat playpen market, right?
It wasn't. This makes us talking about Amazon FBA really bad, or selling Amazon sounds really bad, and you should avoid it. But that's like one bad product out of the 10 or 15 or 20 products between us that we've had that have been an unbelievable success and have made us some decent money. So it was just like an unfortunate event. But selling on Amazon is quite good. It does have its problems. It does have its benefits. The £8,000 zip is probably one of the problems, but it is what it is.
It makes a good story.
Yeah, I mean, let's just jump in some of the numbers. Have you got the numbers on your screen?
Yeah,
there?
I have the numbers here now. So the products themselves, I can't remember how many units we ordered, Alex, but I think it was probably about 250, 300, something like that, right? Between tunnels, the tents, and what was the other thing? The tent on its own then as well. So £8,814, that was the cost of the product to be manufactured, right, in China. Like, that doesn't include VAT, nothing, there's none of that in China. That was just the raw cost, right, that cost us, right? Then we sent some goods to Canada, and we sent some goods to the US, right? We split them up because we said we test the Canadian market as well, right? So to transport the goods to Canada was £1,645, right? To transport the goods to the US, which was the lion's share of the cat playpens, was £2,671, right? So there's our cost so far. So to actually get the goods made and shipped to the respective destinations cost us, let me see now, I'll give it to you now, Alex, and crew listening at home. Cost us,
I mean, just tell the listeners. I was going to say, just tell the listeners, like, basically what we spent and what we made.
Yeah, well, that's where we're getting to it now, right? So, literally, that £13,000, literally, that was everything in the fulfillment centres ready to go out to the consumers, right? Now, our total sales after refunds, which were plenty of refunds, right? And it just shows you, like, the product was in demand. It just was the issues with the returns was causing us our problems. We sold £10,355 worth of stock. So, guys, you're noticing something here now. Our expenses are bigger than our sales, right? But then there was other things. There was storage, monthly storage fees. There was GST in Canada. There was a few other wee things, right? So, our total cost, everything, Amazon advertisement, the whole works for the cat playpen episode was £18,381, right? 29 pence. Our net proceeds is a minus figure. This is where it comes from. £8,026.29. That's how much we lost because the supplier did not take the time, and we did check this with them multiple times, even with our sample, to make sure all the zips join together. So, guys, I think what we've learned from this, right? Well, first of all, don't let it stop you selling on Amazon or doing any other business, because you're always going to have problems like this. It's part of the fun. It's given us an episode today, right? It's an expensive episode. We've spent £8,000 to give you these lessons, right? But apart from that, it just shows you that when you're doing something like this, when you're making a product, you really need to keep triple checking and triple checking and triple checking. But sometimes, even when you do that, these things happen. but you live and learn. Alex, what's your thoughts like on the whole cat playpen episode? Experience.
Well, to be honest with you, that was kind of like I don't want to say it was the nail in the coffin for me for Amazon FBA, because I do quite like selling on Amazon. But for me, maybe the time that this happened and now, I feel there's bigger points of leverage for me. Like it might be different for somebody listening to this. They might have been in a different situation, but I feel there's easier ways to leverage what we're doing to make more impact, to make more money, and all this sort of stuff. There is, selling on Amazon is fantastic. There is a lot of foundational work to do in it, like from sourcing the product to getting it manufactured, then shipping it over from China, and then getting it into stock and then keeping it into stock. It's all quite a big challenge, but it's obviously super fulfilling as well. Like I remember when I first sold my first product on Amazon, and when that first sale came in of like $20 or £20 or something, it's such a cool feeling, and it makes you just want to grow even faster and even more. But for now, I'm going to park the Amazon stuff aside. I've still got stuff selling, but I haven't reordered those products. I'm kind of just letting them run down so I can focus my time and energy onto the other stuff that we're doing, which is quite cool with the data and all sorts of stuff, which maybe we'll get into on another episode.
I think we need to at some point. Yeah, definitely, 100%. It's funny for me. The way I see things is like this whole experience with Amazon and what I was doing on Amazon was just about testing products. Really, like, it wasn't about building a brand. Whereas now, I think coming in on Amazon and having helped a number of brands, really scale on Amazon, the way I look at it is it's much more about building a brand for me now. So I had some products that turned out really, really well, which were like hoses and pipes and all that. And that's something I'm sort of exploring now again, of just, building that into a proper brand, because I see that as something valuable and something that you could sell potentially a number of years down the line. And the way I look at what we're doing with the data and all, which I love, like I love the data. I love, it's just it's so cool. Like just audiences and pulling them around and watching the figures. I think that's really exciting. But the way I see it is it's like pulling money from that, earning good money in that, but reinvest it into compounding vehicles. And I see an Amazon brand, and maybe not necessarily a product, but a brand, as something that is sellable and therefore something that is compoundable. And that's the way I view Amazon. So I don't think it's the end of the Amazon story for Alex or myself, really. Like, I just think it's kind of what's the biggest lever? And then, like, this would be something very much on the side, but something that you could still build. Because you can... If you know what you're doing, like, and like we do on Amazon, like you can build an Amazon business, whilst doing something else completely on the side. Like you don't need to even handle the goods anymore. Like, you can send straight to Amazon in a container. That's one thing I've learned. Like, I don't necessarily want to see the goods anymore. Sometimes it's great seeing the goods because, this zip problem, you might recognize it before it happened. Probably couldn't have changed it because, I'm not going to be able to stitch zips onto these tunnels and stuff, but I would be able to see the problem. And the goods were remote, so I couldn't. But if you build up a relationship with a supplier and you have consistent product lines, send them straight to Amazon. Don't even handle them. Might cost you slightly more, but at the same time, your time is your money. And I often found when I was sending goods into Amazon, I'd have to drive maybe an hour to get them and package them and, wrap them up and everything. And it just takes time out of your day and you'd lose a few hours. Whereas I prefer now to concentrate on what we're doing and then let the Amazon stuff just run in the background.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's Amazon, folks. That's the £8,000 zip. But it's good fun, I have to say. I really enjoy it. People often ask me, like, what products do you sell? And I love the bit where I'd say, cat playpens. That just gets people so excited. I don't know about you, Alex. When people ever ask you, like, what products do you sell? Like, what's your go-to product?
Do you know what? It's funny the types of products we've sold in the past. Like, it's almost like when you say you sell on Amazon, they say, "Oh, what do you sell?" And they're probably expecting like, "Oh, like just you to say like something like really normal, like a water bottle or I don't know, a table or something."
Water bottle.
Then you say cat playpen, and you try and just keep a straight face.
It's pure magic. I actually give away a lot of cat playpens to friends because like, I don't want a cat playpen, but this particular friend was really into cats and she was delighted with it. Like she was amazed with this thing. She just loved it. And I was like, who's going to want this? But that's the data says people want it and they do. But yeah. And it's funny, before we came on the call, like, you know, just going full circle, like if you think about it, drop shipping, the biggest problem with drop shipping, not a problem, well, it was a problem for us and for you, I know, was you were spending a lot of money on ads, like, you know, to get people to click and see your product, right? But the traffic was there, the demand was there. And I often thought to myself when I was doing it, I was like, if I could just cut out this ad spending, you know, this cost of ads or reduce it, you know, it'd be really, really profitable. And now with the data stuff we're doing, like, that's possible. And that's pretty amazing. I want to think about it more, and maybe we'll explore it more on the podcast. But, you know, there's ways now of maybe doing drop shipping that were never done before. And it's just something I want to maybe test out in time, you know, and just see how it works.
Yeah, we'll dive into that in another episode.
Oh, completely. But look, Alex, I'm going to let you go. It's Friday afternoon. You might have other things to be doing, folks.
Yeah.
Do I have stuff to be doing? I do, but I really enjoy doing this podcast. But yeah, thanks so much for listening. Make sure to subscribe. Make sure to hit the like button if there is a like button. There is on YouTube. These videos are on YouTube, this podcast. And we'll talk to you again soon.
Good stuff, guys. See you later.